Hello, welcome to another edition of Talking Sports and Fitness with Zeke. I'm Zeke. My guest today is Tom Legath. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you.
He's the athletic director of Exeter School District. I applaud Exeter because they have made a major investment in player safety in football. As everyone knows, there's been a lot of things written and said about concussions, primarily in football, but in other sports as well. But Exeter has made an investment of over $55,000. They got brand new, state-of-the-art Riddell SpeedFlex Helmets with InSite, and they're designed to disperse, the energy from a hit and reduce the head trauma. They also have an InSite thing that you can monitor that. Your trainers can monitor it. You're doing it for grades 7 through 12. And these are expensive helmets. Usually you replace them, 5 or 6 times, 5 helmets a year?
Yes.
You're getting this is a staggering investment, and I think it speaks a lot for your school district and your school board to do this. So enough from me. Tell us about this cool helmet.
Well, thank you. Yes, it does speak volumes about our school district and our school board and what we want in terms of the best care for our kids and the safety and the well-being of our kids, especially since we sponsor football. Basically, what we've had, what this is the SpeedFlex helmet, and with the SpeedFlex, you have an InSite device that goes inside of this helmet, and there's a chip inside of this when this goes in, and not exactly putting it in the right way, and then our athletic trainers will have a monitoring device on the sideline where if a hit occurs, that's a hard blow to the head, and it registers on our device. The athletic trainers can check out those hits when they occur, because we'll have a program programmed in that has every player's number and a software package that comes with it from Riddell into our software that will register these hits with the numbers of the helmet. So it's a great, again, we are, like Zeke said, we are the first school district in Berks County to outfit our kids grades 7 through 12 with these helmets, and an unbelievable gesture, I guess you could say, by our school board administration to know that this is the best thing for our kids and to try to protect their safety as best we can.
What I think is interesting too is that your football coaching staff, Matt Bauer and his assistants, if a player is taking more hits than perhaps he should be, they could probably adjust this technique to minimize that trauma, hopefully.
Great point. And I was, as you can't tell, I was a soccer player in high school, about 100. You
look like a football guy.
So I don't really know the football, all the ins and outs. So I went to my football coaches and I asked them that, and that's exactly what they said about being able to coach when they see something like this and see and break down what a particular kid is doing. If the constant pounding and trauma continues, they can try to readjust their technique.
Speaking of soccer, you mentioned soccer. Football, obviously, that's the biggest concern with head trauma and concussions. But number 2 is soccer. Mm-hmm. And apparently girls soccer players, it's even higher than boys. And a lot of it is, Mike Moyer used to coach at Exeter, and he's like an iconic soccer. I had him on this show, and we were talking about that. A lot of people think it's from hitting the ball, which a lot of times it is, because that ball's flying and it's hard. But the other thing with soccer is that because officials make them keep their hands down when they're both trying to head the ball, a lot of times players will bang heads, and that's not good either. I wonder down the road, I don't know how it would work wearing a helmet, but if soccer players will wear maybe a smaller version of a helmet like that.
I'll tell you what, I wish I had one. I was a defender.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Every time a goalkeeper kick came out or a 6-yard kick came out to midfield, I was the one hopefully jumping over the other guy trying to head the ball. There was a number of times that my head was ringing.
Yeah, well, my sons played soccer at Wilson, played for Mike Moyer, and one was a defender, one was a keeper, and they both had concussions. Yeah, it's easy to do, and other sports as well. But back to football. in Exeter's program, obviously you have a very robust football program. Have you seen maybe a decline in numbers of kids going out for football because of parental concerns about safety, especially head trauma?
I have not. Actually, that was one of our concerns when this all kind of started with, I believe it was right before the Christmas holiday, the movie Concussion came out.
Yeah, yeah.
And my football coach called me, Matt Bauer, and he says, Tom, you need to go see this movie because all this, what he took from the movie is how can any parent let their kid play football after watching that movie?
And this is a high school football coach saying
Yes,
that. Yeah.
yes. And I went and I watched the movie and I was like, we have to be above this and get on top of this. And shortly thereafter, this was presented to us, and it kind of got the ball rolling in the direction of where we are now with getting these. But I have not seen our numbers decline because of this. I think when you have kids like Michael Mennett and you see all the success that he's had and going to Penn State, at Exeter, even more kids want to come out and play football because they want to be like Michael.
I also think with this helmet now, more parents may be say, you know what, I was on the fence or was kind of against it, but now, because there's not, I played a lot of sports too. There's nothing quite like football, and you only get one shot in life to play it, and obviously when kids are bulletproof, they think they're bulletproof when they're young. They're not thinking about when they're 60
Correct.
years old. And there's a lot of other things that go wrong with you in 60, besides that. But maybe the helmet will give more parents allay some fears about.
I mean, there should be, I just should say there's never no questions from parents, but there should be a lot more on board with knowing that their child. We took, as a school district, every possibility in terms of to make sure their safety is taken care of.
What happens because you're buying them all these at the same time? How are you going to replace? You're going to still have to replace them incrementally. It's too prohibitive.
Yeah, I mean we'll be good for a while, at least 5 years, and at least 5 years, and we'll just get them reconditioned, and we'll be okay.
And maybe in 5 years there'll be something even better.
There probably will be. Yeah.
I guess it's unrealistic to think concussions. No helmet's going to totally take them out of.
Correct.
And also, certain individuals seem to be more prone to concussions than others. Mm-hmm. And just to put a little scope in it, I guess your coach Matt Bauer estimated that this is this SpeedFlex latest helmet, 10 to 15 players a year in the program would miss a game or practice because of a concussion. Yeah. So it's it's something that happens because there's no way around it.
Yeah, and I think our helmets that we had was called the Riddell Revolution. Not that we've had them since 2003, but our football helmets really haven't been fully replaced since 2003. So now going with a whole new SpeedFlex helmet, 13 years later, I think we're okay.
It's interesting. In the old days, you saw guys just with single bar, but most people, had the double face mask. Now look at this, but this I think really is kind of key because that helps. A lot of times you get a shot right on the forehead.
Yep.
So that it's like having a bumper, right?
This helps, and also right here, this piece here, kind of absorbs the hit.
Yeah, I see that.
If you push in to kind of take away from the blow of how hard the hit is. So, I mean, there's a number. I mean, this technology nowadays, this is unbelievable.
You know what I like about that? It kind of has a cool look. You kind of look like a jet fighter. I mean, we've all seen in the past, like a football player may be prone to concussions. And so if they're wearing this dorky, it looks like a double helmet, mm-hmm. There's a lot of guys who are going to say, man, that doesn't look cool.
Yeah.
This looks cool.
Yeah. It does. And our helmet will be white. This isn't this.
Right.
Our helmet will be white. Yeah, this is manufactured. Our helmet will be white. We'll have our decal on either side.
Yeah.
For Exeter and.
It'd be interesting to see when some other school districts. Of course, school boards have to find the money. Come on board at least to a degree.
Yeah, and I'm already getting phone calls from other districts just asking about the process and what we took to do this and so I'm going through how everything went with us.
So just to wrap up, so after Matt Bauer saw that movie, Concussion, you guys started doing research and figuring out what was available, and that's what led to this one?
Yes, right away.
Yeah.
Right away. And then even my superintendent at the time, Dr. Martin, who since retired, she called me and said she went and saw the movie and was just scared for the future of football. And she was on board. She retired in middle of January, and our new superintendent came on, Dr. Phillips, and he was a former football player at Villanova. So
good thing to have when you're an
AD. He was all in favor of these helmets because obviously he played in the helmets you described prior to this. Previously about the old days. So this is something that everybody kind of bought into.
Hey, you didn't have the fancy helmets back then, but if you had smelling salts and you could see 2 fingers, you were good to go. Tom Legath, Exeter School District, doing a marvelous thing for the health of their football players. I hope it's a resounding success, and I hope other school districts in the county and beyond follow your lead. Thank you so much for explaining all the technology to us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you, Tom. And for now, this is Zeke saying goodbye.
These community stories are made possible in part by BCTV, Susie Ray Design, Queen City Family Restaurant, Lamar Advertising, Heidelberg Family Restaurant, Reading Air, Lions and Hole, Peanut Bar, and Kutztown University.